South Africa has far more than just the number one rugby team in the world. They have the greatest rugby system on the planet and arguably of all time. A Springbok team that has won back-to-back World Cups as well as the British and Irish Lions series. Blitzboks have gone back-to-back in the World Champions. And as of this weekend, the under-20s have claimed back-to-back under-20 World Championships as well. And this is all by design, not by mistake. South Africa pipeline does not start at under 18 level. It does not start at the under 20 world champs. We are talking about a system that starts at 13 years old. That is effectively where the pipeline really begins, with provincial weeks, not to mention other youth weeks such as the Ikawe week, which is an under 15 week for players from underprivileged backgrounds. The Craven week system has generated more than 240 Springboks since its inception. And every year, we see all 14 unions sending a minimum of one team to the Craven Week, with the bigger unions actually sending up to 2 teams. And we get 20 provincial sides just in Craven Week. And then we've got your Grand Combo weeks as well as your Academy weeks in different age groups. This is all on a provincial level. We have a school system that is investing over 10 million Rand a year for certain schools, individual schools, into their rugby programs. We have got some schools who will spend up to 6 million Rand just on rugby, with some schools spending up to 10 million Rand on bursaries, which also kick in from under 14 level. This is a system that has been professionalized. And it has been noted by both Foote and Rassie Erasmus with regards to the maturity of players that are coming through at an under 20 level being that much further than players even that are currently within the box. There is a noted difference in the level, the maturity, and the understanding that the under 20 players have compared to the players that came through within the last sort of 10, 15 years. And this has all been a systematic creation of a rugby pipeline that is just generating stupid amounts of talent. South Africa currently has more professional rugby players across the world than any other union. And if you look at the rise of schoolboy rugby, it's not going to change. We have also seen the rise of a scouting system with super sports schools, as well as some schools taking on their own broadcasting capabilities. Rugby matches from under 14, even younger than that, are being beamed to our screens and across the world, which means that scouting has become more effective and better than ever. Not only is talent being seen at these academy weeks, but throughout the season, which eliminates the idea that you just need to peak at the right time and you can get yourself into the different mixes. You can put together years and years of footage and experience and a reputation that can help you get into the professional system. If you look at the coaches within the school system, we have got coaches coaching first teams that have coached at national level, URC level, provincial level, and it's almost being seen now as the same kind of level of job to go and coach within the school system or be a director of rugby within the school system than it is to coach at a Currie Cup level or even higher. Then you get into Rassie's coaching structures. And what we need to understand is that the win in 2019, the dominance we're experiencing, the seeds were sown as far back as 2013, when Rassie Erasmus took over the Elite Player Development Program. Back in 2013, Rassie, as well as Jacques Nielba, got involved within the SA Rugby structures and established what we now know as the EDP player, or the EDP program, which stands for Elite Player Development. That whole program was designed to take talent from a young age and develop them into elite international players. If you look at the squads in the last few years, 80% and above of these players have come through the EDP program. When Rassie and Jacques came back from Ireland and took over in 2018 and going to 2019, a core group of the players within these squads were players that they had themselves worked with beforehand within the EDP program, where basically they put in really big testing situations, they looked at individual programs, they looked at moving players between schools, and basically created this pipeline to ensure that all the possible talent within the country gets filtered and takes it up to the next level. This is why in the last few years, we've suddenly seen a really, really big output of schoolboy rugby players. The biggest problem is we saw in the last couple of years, we saw a gap between what school rugby that we saw and the results at under 20 level. That has been changed. More investment has come in. Kevin Foote coming back, taking over a really good coaching staff, have created structures that kind of mimic the Springboks. We are talking about more tours for the under 20s, more matches throughout the year. We are talking about alignment camps. We are talking about larger squads. No longer are we selecting a squad that gets together a couple of weeks ahead of the under 20 World Championships and goes and tries and wins a title. Half the time, by the time we get to the under 20 championships, these players have got 6, 7, 8, 9 games within the side and have been aligned and have been together for at least a year, if not some of them 2 years. And as a result, when they're going over to the under 20 World Championships, they are steps ahead. This professionalism is now moving on to the senior level. And this is why we are seeing players at under 20 level like Avusi Moore, Yako Williams, Riley Norton coming into the box setup and being ready, despite the lack of inverted commas professional games, because schoolboy level as well as the under 20 level is being played in such a professional environment and at such a high level that there is no longer this gulf between international, URC, Currie Cup, Varsity Cup, and the likes of that. We are now seeing our junior players playing at a level far closer than ever before to a URC as well as a Springbok level. And as a result, there isn't the step up. We've also created an environment that enables success. The rotation of players, the more alignment camps, the more information that gets filtered to these players, the large coaching staff, means that gone are the days where you don't know where you stand as a rugby player. You are brought into these alignment camps months before you might make your first debut. There are roadmaps designed for every single player that gets into these alignment camps. We're talking about 60, 70 players, up to 90 players who are given roadmaps about what they need to improve, where they are in their career, where they are in their skill set, and what they need to do to get into the Springbok environment. This is not a case of go back and work on your defense. They are given a whole assessment of where they are and what they need to do. This is not even to mention the innovation we are seeing now at a Springbok level. When you think about the bomb squad in 2019, when you look at the way they've powered the scrum, you look at all the different coaches they've brought in from all across the plan, different coaches, different analysts from different backgrounds to create a plethora of resources aimed at one thing: results, winning titles, winning matches, and winning World Cups. And it is working. You look at something as simple as the roving, coaching team that the Boks have, the Moby unit as they are known, of which Dwayne Vermeulen is a part of. Not only does he work with the Springboks, but he will move to URC franchise, to under 20 levels, to the Springbok women, and provide expertise from the Bok camp and from the top to these different teams, which means that there is now a collaborative effort to improve all our rugby players. If you look at the Sevens program, Neil Powell set up the entire Sevens Academy down in Stellenbosch, where players can be part of the Sevens Academy, can play in URC, can play in the Varsity Cup, but we now have a dedicated facility and a dedicated program creating Sevens players who are purely Sevens players to get into the Blitzboks, to go onto the circuit, and to win tournaments. This is why they have won Commonwealth medals, that they have won Olympic medals, and that they are winning World Championships and continue to be one of the top sides so consistently. We have got a systematic pipeline that covers all the bases. We have got the funding that makes this possible. And then you have got the best head coach at the top of it, taking all of this talent and creating the best team we have seen in a South African jersey and one of the best teams of all time. This has not been a mistake. This is not a golden generation. We are seeing that with more and more young players coming through and challenging the players who have gone back to back. The question is, how do other countries compete? France have got the top 14. They have got the best local league in the world. They are starting to bring more and more young players. We are starting to see them build their depth. Ireland have a very professional and a very direct and intentional provincial system, which is creating smaller pools of players, but at higher levels. So there are different approaches, but at this stage, there is just no country that can match South Africa from a resources point of view. As mentioned, Ireland take a smaller player base and try and make them play at a higher level. South Africa have got a huge player base playing at a similar level, and they can professionalize so much more because of the resources like the school system, like how wide it is, that naturally filter all of these players into an environment that is geared up for success. It is no coincidence that South Africa has more professional rugby players than any other nation in the world. We have managed to find the balance of being able to fund these programs, being able to have players go overseas and be intentional about where our players play their rugby, how they get rested, how they get utilized to ensure that high performance and maximizing each individual and the Springbok team continues to be the main goal. And that is why we have seen the dominance, and that is why so many people are talking about the fact that there doesn't seem to be an end in sight with regards to where the Springboks are going. The question more is, can the other countries catch up? The All Blacks have taken big steps ahead under Dave Rennie, but have also got some structural issues. The Wallabies have had to have a whole relook at exactly where they are and how do they keep players from moving to rugby league. Ireland need to grow their player base. Wales need to grow and sort out their provincial unions. Scotland is getting better and better, but once again, don't have the player base that South Africa have. Argentina don't have the opportunity to work with their players like the Springboks have. It's almost the perfect environment, and it's creating some phenomenal results. How long can the Boks continue with this? That's the big question. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below.